Hello and welcome to Samadhi. Today's Sunday, April 22nd, 2018, Earth Day, which is my favorite day of the whole year. So here we are with the Daily Word. Michael?
Happy Earth Day.
Yes.
Well, I already have a feeling I know what the word is, but let's take a deep breath. Let's take a deep, cleansing, purifying breath of presence. Exhale. And just let go. Take a deep breath in. Now on this special day, let's connect to the earth. Let's feel the earth and let's feel the love that we have for the earth. All creatures, all sentient beings, all plants, all aliveness on the earth. Let's be grateful for every creature, every creation, for the balance that the earth gives us, that God communicates through the earth, that Spirit moves through the earth to give us the evidence that we are covered in unconditional love. Let's feel that within ourselves and in this moment. Let's project it to the whole world. Let's just feel it and send it out. Now coming back within ourselves, being grateful, being thankful that we have this responsibility, that we've been given this purpose in life, and to more and more listen so we can follow our true purpose, our true heart's desire, Spirit's desire. Just take a deep breath in. And all of us ready to receive. Well, I wonder what the word is going to be today. Well, let me just say before we get started with the word that is the greatest gift that we can give the earth, that we've been put in charge of, that all the creation of the world. The greatest gift that we can give the world is self-love, self-compassion, self-awareness, and then reflect that with the world. Instead of looking for it, just realize that we are it. We are it. So, the word for today is, in beautiful company with our beautiful mother here, the word for today is, oh, and we move the camera, there. Is earth blessing. And that's what we did right now. I live in harmony with the earth. I live in harmony with the earth. In 2004, Wangari Maathai was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for her work in Kenya through the Green Belt movement. In her acceptance lecture, she said, "We are all called to assist the earth to heal her wounds, and in the process, heal our own. Indeed, to embrace the whole creation in all its diversity, beauty, and wonder. I am a part of," end quote, I am part of a beautiful web of life, intricately woven so that my actions impact the entire web. I am a good steward of the earth's resources, as I am a good steward of my own body. Centered in divine wisdom, I use what I need in ways that support the renewal of the earth. I experience a sense of peace, living in harmony with the earth. I love that. Genesis 1:12. The earth brought forth vegetation, plants yielding seed of every kind, and trees of every kind bearing fruit with the seed in it. And God saw that it was good. Excuse me. I love that it says that we are called to heal the earth. But really, I like, excuse me, I just drank some vinegar, so it's reacting in the body. I was speaking to a gentleman, an aware being, a brother, a beautiful mirror, the other day. And one thing that, the way that I used to think, and the way that I used to perceive the world was that I needed to feel sorry for it, that I needed to feel bad for it. And the thing that I shared with him, and I want to share with all of you, is that when someone is quote quote sick, you don't go over to them and say, "Oh, poor you. You're gonna feel better. You're gonna do okay. Okay, don't worry about a thing." Because what are you emanating? You're emanating your worry, your fears, your doubts. So if we truly want to heal the world, because we can within ourselves, we heal ourselves. We come into our wholeness. There's really no healing involved. We're already whole. The word healing, it's really wholeness. There is no healing needed to be done. It is only letting go of what's keeping you from that wholeness. So when we look at the earth and we see wars, we see violence, we see discrimination, we see racism, we see injustice, imbalance in the world, then what our job is to do, in my humble perspective, is to really see the greatness in the world. Because we judge, we're continuing to repeat that cycle. We're giving it the energetic, what people call blockages, but it's really just resistance for the world to continue to suffer. But when we realize that the earth is in a shift, and when someone is in a shift, what we call sickness, what do we do for that person? We are there. We support them. We love them. We have compassion for them. We emanate our strength, God's spiritual strength within us. We raise our vibration, our awareness, our truth, so that those who are not aware can see the example of that truth in us, not just with words, but with beingness. So, that's basically the best thing that, in my experience, that we can do for the earth. Is just see the greatness in the earth. No matter if you want to get loud about politics, you want to get loud about religion, you want to get loud about what's going wrong with the educational system. It's a process. And when we respect that process, then that process will transform. That's the path of surrender. We all want to fight for justice. We all want to fight the war on drugs. We all want to fight for peace. We all want to fight for this, fight for that. Fighting for this or that is like what I loved, what I heard in Samadhi is shouting for silence. You can't shout for silence. You got to find the silence. And when you find the peace, you will experience peace. And more will experience more peace. But if we're fighting for it, it's like what Ali taught me long ago. If you tell your children not to yell, but yet you're yelling, what are you doing? You're telling the child not to yell, but the fact that you're yelling, you're telling the child it's okay to yell because that's how I get my point across. So it's just a repetitive cycle. So fighting for peace is like telling a child not to yell, but yet you're yelling at them. So that's just my humble words that Spirit gave me.
Did you read the scripture?
Yeah.
In the message?
Oh, I wanted to give you your...
Oh, that's okay.
So in the message, excuse me. In the message it says, God spoke, Earth, green up, grow all varieties of seed-bearing plants, every sort of fruit-bearing tree. And there it was. Earth produced green seed-bearing plants, all varieties, all fruit-bearing trees of all sorts. God saw that it was good. Amen. You want to share something? Let me just say something because I love her humbleness, but I'm going to share something about Alice that...
Uh-oh. Look at that.
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
Alice has been beat down so much, and sometimes I even am harsh on her in different ways, which I fall asleep, so to speak. And not that I'm harsh, like, I disrespect or anything, but harsh with the sense of, you don't know what you're talking about and things like that. That we're all human, right? The one thing that I desire to share about Alice is the world was not ready for somebody like Alice, but it had to adapt to Alice because Alice brings compassion. Alice brings patience. Alice brings unconditional love. And that is what the world needs most. And thanks to Alice, that's what she taught me. And now I bring more unconditional love, compassion, patience. And boy, am I working on patience. But we all are. And let me just say that we all have a choice to answer that call. We see in superhero movies that, one chosen one and one person is going to be the superhero. And I love Dave Parrish because he says 8 minutes to be a superhero. It takes 8 minutes to be a superhero. And that's a great message. And thank you, Dave Parrish. Thank you, brother, for your great message. So, every day is your opportunity to be a superhero and not save the world, but save yourself within the world and awaken yourself within the world. And then you remind the world that it's already awake. You remind the world that it doesn't need saving. It already is saved. And when we realize that, imagine if everybody took their part of 8 minutes every day. 8 minutes of meditation. 8 minutes of presentness. I recommend during the day to be present. But just that alone. Just think about that. The other day, actually yesterday, Mom was showing me an episode on Dr. Oz because she loves Dr. Oz. And Dr. Oz was talking about meditation. And they were talking about how the evidence is so overwhelming on meditation. It's just people think it's all woo-hoo and there's so many misconceptions about meditation, and that's why we do what we do. That's why we bring our classes. That's why we bring what our purpose is. And how do we find our purpose? That's a great question, Alice. How do we find our purpose, Alice?
You're putting me on the spot. Well, of course, you go within.
You go within. Because the purpose out there is what somebody else's idea is. And what a great way to end today's daily word, because when you find your purpose, that's when you become a blessing to the world. But when you don't find your purpose, the world is looking at your gifts and saying, why aren't you living your gifts? Why aren't you living your truth? And if you want to say why the world is sick, is because everybody's a copy of a copy. Everybody's doing what everybody else says to do. And if you look at all the greats, they were rebels. And not to be a rebel to fight the system, but to be a rebel to awaken the system. To be a rebel to remind the system that there is a spiritual being inside you that is the teacher and the guardian of the planet. Because the physical is the planet. It's like the brain. The brain is the mechanism. We are the mechanism of the planet. But when we awaken, when we remember who we are, then the Spirit moves through us to unite and become one with the planet to give the planet more of those seeds sprouting fruit. Because we're taking and taking and taking and taking and taking. When we become copies of copies of copies, we take, and we expect to receive. We expect to assist. But when we give, I love the message of give more, get more. And that's with one of our previous mentors, Mark Januszewski. And he says, give more, get more. And ever since we learned that concept, which Alice was doing her best to teach me, but when I learned years back, give more, get more, it was amazing the transformation that happened. So, give more, get more. Don't get more to be able to give more. Give more and you will get more. As weird and as reversed concept as that sounds, there is an infinite supply within you. And the more you give to yourself, you can give to the world, and the more you will receive within yourself, and the more you will receive in the world without expectations. So thank you everyone for joining us. Hope you enjoyed it. And remember to apply the word for today. Be a blessing to the earth. And how? I live in harmony with the earth. Not in conflict, not in judgment, not in comparing, but in harmony. I live in harmony with the earth. Thank you everyone. Hope you enjoyed today's. And remember to subscribe to our channel to get the latest and greatest from Samadhi. Blessings to you all. Namaste.